Okay, so for the first question, really all you needed to do was add and subtract these numbers. I'm going to show you one easier way, though, than what some of you did. So some of you just did the first thing, then you added the 76, then you took away 65, then you added the 54, and so on. A slightly faster way is to pair up the numbers. So for example, if I pair the numbers like this, 98 minus 87 is 11. 76 minus 65 is 11. 54 minus 43 is 11. And 32 minus 21 is also 11. So really, to do this really quickly, I have four groups of 11 plus 10. So that's 44 plus 10 is 54. So that just shows you kind of a different way. I mean, it's not wrong to just do them all individually, but it's a little bit faster to be able to do this question using that method there. Let's look at the second one. So a lot of you were challenged with this one because of two words. The first word was perfect square, and the second word was consecutive. So I'm going to deal with this one first. Consecutive means in a row. So like 10, 11, 12, those are consecutive numbers. Or 61, 62, 63 are consecutive numbers. The word whole number you should all know. Whole number just means essentially like the counting numbers including 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. It doesn't include decimals. A perfect square is if you take a number and you square it, which means you times it by itself, the answer that you get is a perfect square. So here are some of the perfect squares. 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared. So 1 times 1, or 1 squared, is 1. 2 times 2, or 2 squared, is 4. And so on. These numbers that I have created on the right-hand side, so the numbers 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, those are called perfect squares. So perfect squares are created when I take a whole number and I times it by itself. The answer that I get is a perfect square. So here are the first 10 perfect squares. Now I'm only going to put the first 10 because this question talked about how many are less than or equal to 100 that are the sum of two consecutive whole numbers. So it's only the first 10 that are less than or equal to 100. Now a couple of you, when I was looking at marking your work, you noticed that to get the sum of two numbers that are consecutive, that are in a row, so like 8 and 9 or 11 and 12, you're always adding an odd plus an even. And when you add an odd plus an even, you will always get an odd number. So some of you right away noticed that you knew your answer had to be odd. So then we look at just these odd ones, and we look and say, can they be written as the sum of two consecutive whole numbers? Well, this one can be. It is 0 plus 1. 9 is 4 plus 5. 25 is 13 plus 4, no, 12 plus 13, and so on. So as you can see, I just filled them all in. All of them can be written. And so there are 5 answers, 5 numbers, 5 perfect squares. That's the answer to that question. So let's look at the next question. So Dylan works every 3rd day, William works every 4th, Francis works every 5th. So this is basically an LCM question, a lowest common multiple question. What is the smallest number that 3, 4, and 5 all have in common? So to do that, you just have to multiply them, and you get 60. That means that if they work today on a Thursday, the next time they work together will be 60 days later. So now it asks, what day of the week will that be? Well, one really neat thing is that the days of the week repeat. So every week, every 7 days, so if today's a Thursday, 7 days from now will also be a Thursday. 14 days from now will also be a Thursday. 21 days from now will also be a Thursday. So multiples of 7, it will still be a Thursday. So really, all you have to look at the number 60 and ask yourself, what's the closest multiple of 7? So 56 days is the closest multiple of 7. It will be a Thursday 56 days from now. So that means 57 days will be a Friday, and 58 days will be a Saturday, and 59 will be a Sunday, and Monday will be 60 days. So that's how you would approach that question. This one here was also, I think, challenging for most of you. So when you had a 2 by 2 by 2 cube. So picture, here's your cube, it's 2 by 2 by 2. And now we're going to cut this at that blue spot and fold it over. When we cut it at the blue spot, this part is still 2, and this part is still 2, but now my height is only 1. And so now I have a shape that I have created that is a little bit longer, that is 2 of these pieces put together. So it's a 2 by 2 by 1 and a 2 by 2 by 1. So when I look at this shape, the new base is 4, the depth is 2, and the height is 1. Now I need to find the surface area. That means I need to find the areas of all the sides. This is a rectangular prism. There are 6 sides in a rectangular prism. 3 of them repeat in the same. So the top and the bottom are the same, the front and the back are the same, and the left and the right are the same. So all you need to do is find the area of each of those pieces. So what's the area of the top? So the top is right here. The area of the top is 2 times 4. And there are 2 of those. There's a top and a bottom. What's the area of the front? So I'll use a different color. Here's the front right here. It is 4 by 1. It's right there. And again, there are 2 of those. There's a front and a back. Then, what is the area of the side? So there's the side. It is 2 times 1. And again, there are 2 of those. When I find each area, so 2 times 4 times 2, I get 16. 4 times 1 times 2, I get 8. And I get 4. When I add those up, I get 28. That is the total surface area of the new shape. Okay, so here is the 5th question. And this one is a little bit more challenging. Okay, so this is the last question, and this is quite a difficult question. So what I've done, I've written on the next page, I've broken this down. So here is Karen, so I'll actually put this up. So Karen, in 2.5 hours, she can paint the wall. So I've turned that into a fraction. 2.5 is the same as 5 over 2. So she can do the whole wall in 2.5 hours, or 5 over 2. That means in 1 hour, if we divide that by 5, she can do 2/5 of the wall in 1 hour. So the first hour she does 2/5, the second hour she does 2/5, and then the last half hour is 1/5. That's total of the whole wall done in 2.5 hours. Likewise, if we look at, and I forget the other person's name, Stephanie, if we look at Stephanie, she can do the entire wall in 1.25 hours. That means that that's 5 over 4 hours for the entire wall. So again, if we look at what she can do in 1 hour, she can paint 4/5 of the wall in 1 hour. Again, we can look at that and say 4/5 plus plus 1/4 of that is 1/5. There's my entire wall. Done. So now we look at, well, combined, what can they do? Well, combined, they can do 2/5 plus 4/5 in an hour. They'll get 6/5 of the wall completed in 1 hour. But that's too much. So what would it be for 5/5 of the wall? Well, all you need to do is divide by the hour by 6 and times by 5, and you'll get 5/6 of an hour, or 50 minutes, to do the whole wall. And so that's how you do that last question. It is quite a challenging one, although it is a common question for contests and things like that.